Oh, hello, Tashitele. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing okay, doing fine. And welcome back to the session. I think some of you might be other part of the world, maybe in the early morning, some maybe at the late evening, and in Australia, late afternoon, something like that. So I hope that all of us have a meaningful session. So in order to do that, first of all, establish altruistic intention on the basis of firm refuge in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then dedicating entire rest of our life until we achieve enlightenment, in particularly this very life, in particularly this very session, to be most useful, accumulating or gathering abundance of perfect virtues, meritorious karma, positive energy through our body, speech, and mind, and bless our own body, speech, and mind. And that blessing, that good energy, that straw of perfect virtue and merit, we contribute to the entire numberless sentient beings, to the entire universe, for the peace, harmony, happiness, virtue, and enlightenment. So keeping that in heart, then recite the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, then salutation to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, salutation to lineage gurus, then the four immeasurable, generation of the four immeasurable thoughts. Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jizoje Besonamje Dola Penje Sanje Dumarajo Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jizoje Besonamje Dola Penje Sanje Dumarajo Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jizoje Besonamje Dola Penje Sanje Dumarajo Sanje Jodan Zoje Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jazunje Daji Jizoje Besonamje Dola Penje Sanje Dumarajo Gange Dojene Zone Dawa Damje Bambejere Dambejene Denzebe Godam Dela Chazelo Tony Ninja Zundo Jobe Lama Zeje Zeje Ganje Dendege Chana Bemo Denzen Jazola Sowa Devzonda Jujinjelo Semje Damje Dewa Dan Dewe Judan Dembra Juje Semje Damje Dunga Dan Dunga Judan Dawa Juje Semje Damje Dunga Mebe Dewa Dami Dawa Juje Semje Damje Nire Jadan Yedan Dawe Danyola Nebra Juruji Semje Damje Dewa Dan Dewe Judan Dembra Juje Semje Damje Dunga Dan Dunga Judan Dawa Juje Semje Damje Dunga Mebe Dewa Dami Dawa Juje Semje Damje Nire Jadan Yedan Dawe Danyola Nebra Juruji Semje Damje Dewa Dan Dewe Judan Dembra Juje Semje Damje Dunga Dan Dunga Judan Dawa Juje Semje Damje Dunga Mebe Dewa Dami Dawa Juje Senje Danje Nire Jadan Yedan Dawe Danyola Nebra Juruji. So on the basis of generations of the four immeasurable thought, then keeping the rest of the numberless sentient beings in the samsara, that who are completely under the control of karma and delusion, where there is not even a one single moment to experience genuine sense of happiness. In particularly, keeping in our heart at this very moment. There are so many humans and so many animals around the world that are in tremendous suffering from natural disasters that we've been witnessing, around the globe, in Europe, right this very now. There's a heavy destructive floods in China, in Southeast Asia, in other part of the world. So in many places, so many beings are suffering from natural disaster. uh, then, no doubt, how many wild animals, the bugs and bacteria, suffer from this disharmony in element. Then on top of that, there still, many part of the world, humans are suffering from the COVID-19 sicknesses, fear. Then also there are so many people due to different kind of diseases, obstacles in the life that people go through, so much of suffering. So keeping all those in your heart, then take a moment to generate sincere compassion and love, and send your metta to each and every one of them. And with the power of your sincerity, sincere heart, power of the prayer, power of the dependent nature, without doubt that these beings receiving help, benefit, rescue in any means. So take a moment to do that meditation, okay? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we are studying through the various texts within the great collections of Lojong treatise. And right now we are studying the text, The Peacock Roaming in the Jungle of Virulent Poison. the peacock's neutralizing of the poison by Dhammarakshita. So we have done the first chapter, which very much exemplifying, how the deeds of the Bodhisattva's conducts are in relation to Buddha's previous life, deeds, Buddha's previous life, those Bodhisattvas, training on the path, what kind of Bodhisattva's conducts. So as an example for us to follow. Then the second chapter, we very much discuss reasoning to neutralize or accept, the past karmas or suffering consequences in samsara, and learn to transform the suffering and its causes, the delusions, onto the path. So then today, the third chapter, the instruction or the teachings on the importance of gradual process of practice on the path to enlightenment. Those earlier discussed Bodhisattva's conducts are so marvelous, so important, so effective, but as a trainee and individually, having different mental dispositions, it is important for us to know the different steps of practice, and we need to develop, in our accounting of those practices in a gradual process, not jumping straight away to the most extended and most highest practice. We may not able to cope it based on the not having the ability. So, so this chapter 3 is very much introducing the gradual path. In other words, we call Lam Rim. So it's very much introducing the Lam Rim, or the gradual path to enlightenment, from very beginning all the way up to the path of the great capable beings. In other words, introducing the teaching or the practice or the path of the three capable beings, of the small capable beings path, middle capable beings path, higher capable beings path. Even in the higher capable being, the follower of sutric path, higher capable beings of the follower of tantric path. So this is the introduction on that. And so those of you who are using the same text, the Great Collection on the Lojong, then it is on page 160, and it's on third chapter, but we are on the verse 28. So before starting the verse 28, Dhammarakshita make a homage to Lord Yamataka, similar as mentioned before. So there's a great reasoning, there's a great meaning of paying homage to Guru Yamataka, because of the main emphasis of the teaching is on altruism, in particularly the wisdom aspect of altruism, which act as a direct antidote to the root cause of the poisonous environment, which is samsara, and the poisonous substance, which is the delusion, in particular the root delusion, the ego grasping ignorant, and emptiness is the direct antidote to that. And Yamataka is the illustration of emptiness into the wisdom deity form. So because of that. So verse 28, it says, so verse 28, introducing the three capable beings, or the three capable beings path. The intelligent one who 6 times day and night peruses, analyze the general and specific defects of the cycle of existence, and it utterly fearful of them, will take and guard the precept of individual liberation. The intelligent one. So the intelligent here can be can understand comparing between those who meet the path and those who haven't. So those who meet the path of the Dharma, those who meet the path that gradually leading towards liberation, and those beings are regarded as intelligent. So those intelligent ones, those who, in other words, those who met the Dharma, then who, put the Dharma knowledge, Dharma practices, Dharma intelligence into one's day-to-day application of in practice by 6 times of training within day and night. 6 times of training your body, speech, and mind through the tools of the Dharma wisdom. The 3 times in daytime and 3 times in the evening or at the night. Like an example, such as analyzing, the general and specific, defect of a cycle of existence, and developing the fearful of them, the general defect of here referring the general defect of samsara, general, like what emphasized in the Lam Rim, the general faults of the cyclic existence, the faults of the pervasive compounded suffering, the samsara, general faults of samsara, which is painful, which is suffering, the general faults of the condemnation of the samsaric aggregates, the condemnation by the karma and delusion, then specific defect of samsara, the sufferings and the faults of hell realm, sufferings and the faults of the rebirth in the hungry ghost realm, animal realm, human realm, God realm, demigod realm. So there are specific specific like sufferings, like such as in human being, the specific suffering of human birth, and aging, sickness, then death, such as human specific suffering of not achieving what you pursue, what you wish for, and encountering those which you do not wish for, those which you wish to prevent, but it comes in our way, like such as sickness and obstacle in life. Or then on the basis of that analysis, on the basis of general and specific defect of samsara, then genuinely developing fearful of them is genuinely developing renunciation of them, is one of the what I mean by practicing or integrating 6 times within our 24 hours of life, or 24 hours of day and night, by the Dharma practitioners. So this is what it's talking about. So then we'll take the guard and precept of individual liberation, or then by developing genuine sense of renunciation with the two causes that, as mentioned before, to develop the renunciation, reflecting on the general and specific defect of samsara, then you commit to guard your body, speech, and mind through taking the precept of individual liberations. There are 8 type of precepts, 8 type of individual liberation precepts that you can take. The 8 type of moral commitment made by lay and ordained, practitioners, like such as 5 lay vows, like taking refuge, 5 lay vows, such as the preordination vows and the novice vows, fully ordination vows. So these are the lay and ordained individual liberation precepts, which you take, which you have it to guard your body, speech, and mind in order to remain, intact of the protection, falling into the 60 realm of silent existence, which is so in the nature of suffering. So so someone that who do that is called intelligent. Someone who do that is called intelligent. Someone at least in 6 times, a day, within day and night, 6 times, generating in short, generating renunciation, genuine renunciation, and observing according with your capability of moral precepts, starting from refuge, and that is the practice of the intelligent. So in more easier to relate to us, most of us here may be doing it, and it is something that as a someone who taken refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, then from that day onward, our practice, one of the very minimal practice, is to remember the object of refuge and the precept of refuge 6 times a day, 6 times within day and night. So 3 times in the day, 3 times in the night. So that's a very minimal. And remembering of the object of refuge of Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and the remembering of the precept, at least if one cannot, offer benefit to the well-being of sentient being, at least, always reframing, having the heart of mindfulness of reframing a cause of suffering of any sentient being, and get reminded, 3 times a day minimum and 3 times a night, through the practice of, through individual practices based on one's own capability, starting from refuge, and that is the practice of intelligence, and that is the minimum practice of Buddhist practitioner. Then when you see the practice of refuge, practice of renunciation, practice of this individual liberation vows, practices to guard our 3 doors, and could be interpreted according with the 3 capable beings practitioners path. Those small capable beings, those very beginner, then the practice of refuge and the practice of renunciation and practice of precept, very much understanding the defect and the faults of the 3 lower realm, then guarding our body, speech, and mind, committing causes to fall in 3 lower realm, which is guarding about committing non-virtues, like such as 10 non-virtues, then so then aspiring to actualize higher rebirth in a future lifetime, like such as precious human rebirth, etc. In order to have the basis to continue the pursuit, towards ultimate liberation. Then the small middle capable beings practice such as on the basis of practice of refuge, or then take the practice of the karma even more advanced level, like such as adopting the teaching, the practice of Four Noble Truth, traveling of interdependent origination, um, you know, more deeper understanding of true truth, then understanding, clarity of the falls of the entire six realms, not only the three lower realms, also the defect and the falls of the higher three realms, like gods and demigods and human being. Even we able to be born, prevent the three lower realms and born in higher three realms, still is still in the subject of condemnation and control of karma and delusion. So therefore, as long as we don't achieve the ultimate liberation, then we are not free from suffering. We are not free from the control of karma and delusion. So understanding that, then on the basis of understanding of Four Noble Truth, like understanding of the truth of the suffering, which is understanding of the pervasive compounded suffering, then understanding the truth of the cause of suffering, which is the karma and delusion, including understanding the definition of what really the delusion is, like such as ignorant of not knowing the ultimate reality, or then having full convictions of, full conviction, if we follow the correct path, then the liberation is definitely be achievable. Understanding the characteristic, the benefit, the advantage of the cessation, the nirvana, then following the truth of the path, which is the path of wisdom. Learning or understanding exactly what the wisdom of emptiness is, and through the cultivation of that, then purifying the samsara and its causes, and gradually leading one's bodhisattva mind in the pure state, towards the ultimate liberation, by following the five paths. So this is the middle capable beings practice. Then, as far as concerned with the higher capable being, then even though that one achieved the state of full liberation, but this is just one individual's benefit. And when you think of the rest of the other sentient beings who are in a similar position like yourself, then understanding on the basis of the interdependent connection with the rest of the sentient being, then the understanding of the interconnection, such as like all sentient being has been your friend, your mother, they have been your benefit in beginningless lifetimes. So therefore, your liberation should be should not be only for your own alone purpose. It should be for the purpose of rest of the numberless sentient beings enlightenment. So then, reasoning your own limitations of the entire samsara, then you understand the limitations of the samsara in every rest of the sentient being. Then by following the path of altruism, which develop on the basis of genuine great compassion, great love, then by developing the path of altruism, the the altruistic wisdom and altruistic attitude of bodhicitta, then through the engaging in the practice of 6 paramita and actualizing the state of full enlightenment. So that is the the path of the higher capable being. By actualizing the path of renunciation of entire samsara for your benefit and for the rest of the numberless sentients' benefit, then by following the altruistic path and developing gradually, through the 5 paths and 10 bhumis, 10 grounds, and actualizing the state of full enlightenment is the path of the great capable being. Then within that path, there's a sutric, path, and the tantric path. So like that. So the verse 28 very much introducing, overview, understanding of the 3 capable beings and 3 capable beings path. Then verse 29, specifically focusing on the verse 29 onward, specifically focusing on the teachings teachings of the higher capable beings. So it says like this: having thus made firm the precept of liberation until you reach the state of enlightenment, view all beings as a father and mother, and for their sake take the precepts of aspiration and engagement. So having thus made a firm perception of liberation. So first you make stable, renunciation towards one's own samsara, and establish stable aspiration towards liberation. Then using that as the reasoning, then until you reach the state of enlightenment, then that as a reasoning, then you see, having thus made the firm perception of liberation until you reach the state of enlightenment. So it shows the two aspirations that require for the development of bodhicitta. One is the aspiration, so one's own liberation. Then the second is the aspiration of full enlightenment, or the ultimate liberation for the benefit of the rest of the sentient being. So on the basis of firm renunciation towards one's own samsara and firm aspiration to one's own liberation, that has to be a reason to develop the firm renunciation in understanding of the limitation in all other sentient beings, samsara, and aspire the state of ultimate liberation, which is the state of full enlightenment, for the sake of the rest of the numberless sentient being, by reasoning, viewing all beings as a father and mother. Through what reasoning that you develop the renunciation on the basis of concerning the rest of the sentient beings, by understanding the rest of the sentient beings are interconnected to you as like father and mother. So on the basis of understanding of karma, on the basis of understanding of life and rebirth, then you view rest of the numberless sentient being as a close relation to you as a father and mother, as important as your present life's father and mother, as a reasoning of they also, each and every single rest of the sentient being also has been your father and mother, and not only one time, 2 times, but numberless time in the past, in the numberless, beginningless of time. So because of that, and for their sake, take the precept of aspiration and engagement. So with the firm, the renunciation of the higher capable being, through the valid reasoning of the interdependent connection to you with the rest of the sentient being, then you commit yourself firmly, enter into the path of the higher capable being, or enter into the path of the bodhisattva through developing aspirational altruism, then gradually, developing the engaging, altruism. So like that. So take the precept of aspiration, which is talking about the develop at least, at least the renunciation and the aspirations of enlightenment in your aspiration, in your prayers, in your motivation, and in your aspiration. Then eventually that aspiration lead into actual engaging in the process of developing that, like such as by engaging in the actual practice of six paramita, like such as generosity, etc. Yeah. So so just to cap the points. First two line very much, what say, the two causes, or the two causes to develop the altruistic renunciation, or the renunciation of the higher capable beings path, which is the causes, or the attitude, which is called the renunciations of the Mayanic path, which when you develop that renunciation, you develop the path of the higher capable being, or you develop the path of the bodhisattva. Simultaneously, you when you develop that renunciation, you develop the first moment of bodhicitta. uh, uh, and and we needed to develop, eventually, even at the beginning, that you follow the small capable path or middle capable beings path, but eventually we need to develop the higher capable beings path, because of the third line. You cannot only work for your own liberation, you have to work for the rest of the numberless sentient beings liberation, because you have a connection, you have a responsibility for the rest of the sentient being. Like in our this very lifetime, as a children, that you have responsibility. When you are matured enough, when you are matured enough, then you have responsibility to care for your parents, isn't it? Because the parents have benefited you, like giving birth to you, or nurture you, educate you. Now, when they are in more vulnerable situation, when you are more favorable condition of youthfulness, education, health, age, etc., then it is your responsibility to to care for them, isn't it? To care for them, isn't it? So similar way, rest of the numberless sentient beings, beginningless lifetimes, even in a conventional world, so they have been, our parents, in many rounds, in many lifetimes. In the spiritual aspect, the sentient beings are the reason where we can purify our karma, where we can develop our wisdom, where we can develop, our meritorious accumulations. Sentient beings are the reason that will make for us to, be available to achieve the state of full enlightenment. Sentient beings are the main cause. You see, so so because of that, then the way to really deliver the repaying of the kindness of rest of the mother sentient being is for ourselves to develop the altruistic path. And way to do that, first, you take the precept of aspirational altruism. You at least commit to always think others first from now on. You change your attitude. Up to now we think our own benefit first, on top of the rest of the other sentient being. So now when you take the precept of the Mahayanic Dharma, then from now on the first thought is others benefit before your own benefit. Your purpose of life become for the benefit. Your attitude, your motivation, your motto of life is to bring benefit to the rest of the numberless sentient beings, up to the enlightenment benefit. You see, so carrying that aspiration in our day-to-day purpose, day-to-day life, day-to-day activities is taking the precepts of aspiration. And that aspiration, not just having in the thought is good enough. Not just having aspiration, is not good enough to deliver the ultimate resulting of bringing actual benefit of abiding entire numberless sentient beings into the state of full enlightenment. That can be only done by yourself engaging in the activities of altruistic path, which is taking the commitment of engaging, taking the commitment of altruistic, taking the commitment of engaging bodhicitta, taking the commitment of engaging bodhicitta, or taking the vow of engaging bodhicitta. That is committing oneself from now on only gather perfect virtue, which are the virtue of altruism. Whatever action that you perform through your body, speech, and mind should be, very much on the basis of the guideline, like such as 6 paramita, such as the wisdom of emptiness, like such as attitude of bodhicitta. So he's talking about that. So then verse 30, so there are 2 sections. One is the sutric aspect of training on the path, and then another one is tantric aspect of training on the path. So in another word, neutralizing, like such as the bodhisattvas, they transform every experiences in samsara onto the path to enlightenment. So we ourselves as a someone who aspire to train like them, then we learn the teachings from the sutric aspect as well as the tantric aspect, how you transform our samsaric experiences onto the path, or how you neutralize our life, our contaminated aggregates, our samsaric experiences, onto the meaningful path of altruism, or meaningful path to enlightenment. So this is talking about that. So the sutra aspects, verse 30. When aspiration and engagement are made firm through love and compassion, even though you suffer in the jungle of self-existence, thinking of this as a nothing, and for the benefit of others, resolutely endure austerities even at the cost of your life. So in the sutra practice, when someone that develop when someone taken the vow or the precept of bodhisattva's aspiration, and vow and the precept of engaging bodhisattva's conduct, which are very much met, which are very much stabilized within your continuum on the basis of genuine love and genuine compassion, which is the great compassion and great love. So in such a practitioner, that could be you, and all those bodhisattvas are. So in such practitioners' journey of life, even though you suffer in the jungle of self-existence, so even though you go through so much suffering, suffering of pervasive suffering for sure, then suffering of change, and suffering of pain, including suffering of aging, sickness, and death. Then the suffering of all the misfortunes, that go through in life. Whatever suffering that comes in our way. Uh, Loss of health, loss of wealth, loss of a loved one. It could be anything. Any tragedy that comes in our way. If you are bodhisattva, or if you are someone that who aspire the bodhisattva's path, if you are someone who taken the bodhisattva vow, like in recent weeks and months, almost many of the time, whenever His Holiness Dalai Lama provide online teaching, he offer the bodhisattva precepts, and most of us here, I'm sure that you have taken those bodhisattva precepts, and many of us here even taken in person with His Holiness, with your spiritual gurus. Each time when we take initiation, I think most of us here in this platform, I'm sure you have taken initiations. So each time we take initiations, we take bodhisattva aspirational precept, engaging precepts. We have already taken bodhisattva precepts. So that means we are in that category already. So like us, or yeah. So those who taken bodhisattva precepts, this is the way. This is the way how we should practice. Or those who are aspiring to dedicate your life as a bodhisattvas, starting by taking precepts, then you have to be prepared. These are the essence of practice that we have to practice in our day-to-day life. So even though you suffer in the jungle of cyclic existence, think of this as a nothing, and for the benefit of others. Since my body, since my existence is dedicated for the benefit of the rest of the numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment, then any misfortune that comes in my way is nothing. It's nothing disturb me, nothing affect me, nothing bothers me, nothing harms me. Rather that you feel meaningful. Rather you feel meaningful in the practice of altruism, such as practice of Tong Len. One of the essence of practice when you practice Mahayanic Dharma is the Tong Len practice of taking and giving. So whenever you suffer, then instead of feeling depressed, instead of feeling loss, instead of feeling pain, feeling difficult, feeling misfortune, feeling loss, rather immediately you think that on top of your suffering, what suffering you're going through, you take entire rest of the numberless sentient beings' sufferings and problem onto me, onto that self-grasping, onto the root cause. Take onto yourself, meaning take onto the self-grasping, ignorant, and self-cherishing, grasping attitude. Like ripen upon there. Then that you think that cause to purify your own root of the samsara, root of all this problem that you're going through, and at the same time also help to purify rest of the numberless sentient beings, suffering and its causes. So for the practitioner of the bodhisattva, then all the misfortunes are nothing to be bothered. All the misfortunes are not a misfortune. Rather, it is regarded as like a opportunity, as regarded as like a fortune, where you can develop the practice of such as Tong Len, from where that you can bring about immense of purification and actualization of immense of merit. In the practice of Tong Len, someone who aspire in Bodhisattva's path, then by engaging any circumstances, any experiences in such as suffering experiences in the practice of Tong Len, then become a so forceful purification of the past karma, or then so forceful protection for the future, committing of negative karma. And it becomes so forceful in accumulations of the two type of merit of wisdom and merit of method. So this is what it meaning. So think of this as nothing, and for the benefit of others, resolutely endure as austerity, even the cost of your life. So the practice of this altruistic way should never give up. Even how difficult position you may be in, even it is cost of your life also, you should engage in it, and you shouldn't give up onto it. So this is how the bodhisattva would practice, and this is how, if someone aspire bodhisattva's path, then you should too practice this way. So it's talking about that. So it is a very important reminder, for like weak practitioner like myself. In a good time, then we remember refuge. We remember bodhicitta, love, compassion, generosity, and we stay intact with our faith and conviction in the practice, in the guru, in the dharma, in the Buddha, etc. But then when the obstacle comes in our way, when suddenly struck by health problem, business problem, then we lost we lost our mind. In many cases, like weak person like me, a weak in practice person like me, and sometimes it can lose our mind and can lose our direction. Even though the dharma is a fruitful guidance, but totally go away from our mind. We completely overwhelmed with the fear, overwhelmed with confusion, and then instead of strengthening our refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, we rather start to take refuge in spirits and worldly, material things. It become like that. When you see, so then the danger of giving up the path, doubting the Dharma, doubting the practice, etc. All this may occur, if it's a weak practitioner. So this is a great reminder that for the someone who aspire to follow the Bodhisattva's way of life, someone who aspire someone who aspire enlightenment, someone who who aspire in the practice of great compassion, great love, and altruism, then especially in the difficult time, that we should be most courageous. We should be most motivated in altruistic way. We should be even stronger than ever before. So the verse 30 is very much focusing on the altruistic practice of the method aspect, altruistic practice of the attitude aspect. So now the verse 31 is very much focused on the altruistic, the practice of the wisdom aspect. So when you experience, it says, when you experience infinite encounters with the beings of negative character and those who act, ungratefully, like a dream or like an illusion, view them as a devoid of elaboration, probe their nature, and perceive them as a reality's expense. So when you experience infinite encounters with the beings of negative characters, harm givers, ingratitude peoples, malicious peoples, or harmful poisonous animals, negative harmful charms, spirits, or even within one's own family and the close friends, to whom that how much you have benefited them, and treat back ungratefully. In that kind of situation, in that kind of experiences in our life, in relation to all this in all these negative experiences, then how should we transform them? Using the altruistic wisdom is, you regard them as a dream like. You have to understand, you regard them as a dream like. You regard them as like an illusional like. View them as a devoid of elaboration. View them the devoid of elaboration, devoid of the conceptual elaboration. Or in another word, the devoid of the free from the discursive, proliferation. Uh, mm, mm, then try to understand their ultimate nature and perceive them as a reality's expense, and whatever that whatever the negative expressions that express to you, everything are conceptual expenses. In ultimate reality, everything, everything everything lies in the absolute empty of inherent, the reality's expense, the complete devoid of elaborations of all those negativities that it comes in your way. So you should think like that. So so here, in order for us to be able to practice in this way, first of all, that we need to, understand the fact about whatever that comes in our way, comes in the way of our perception. The perception of mind, perception of eye, hearing, feeling, etc. All are coated or enveloped or coated or hallucinated, by misperceptions, the misperceptions of, or misperceptions of, true existence, dualistic existence, inherent existence. All our, the perceptions are very much coated by true existence, dualistic existence, inherent existence. What we see in the first place, first perception, what we think in the first perception, it very much reflect to our view in the way of inherent existence, in the way of dualistic existence or true existence. So therefore, ordinary beings like ours perceptions are falls in the category of false. So because of that, the object or whatever experiences that comes in our perception, cannot be fully trusted in our first glance, in our first experience. There are further truth beyond that. You see, there are truth beyond that. You see, so therefore, whatever we experience in our usual way is very much experience of the conventional conceptual elaborations. The conceptual, what do you call, the conventional conceptual elaborations. So conventional conceptual elaborations, the without analyzing onto it, it lies in the fault. If you analyze on it, then one will able to understand the experiences are genuine, but the experiences are genuine, but genuine in the meaning of interdependent existence, not genuine in the meaning of the true existence or inherent existence. So that has to be differentiated. So whatever that the experiences comes in our way, like obstacles as mentioned before, like someone expressing to you ungratefully, etc. It is truth to the conventional reality, but it is not. But it is false to the interdependent absolute reality. It is truth to the conventional reality. It is truth to the conventional reality because it appears, it appears in the conventional reality the way conventional reality experience it, and it experience the way how conventional reality, what you call the conventional reality establish it. But even in that conventional reality, if you examine further on that conventional reality, at least furthermore, at least one step more, do examination, then you will come to an understanding of false to what you have perceived earlier in the conceptual conventional reality. In fact, it falls into the false. But that doesn't mean the experience is lost. The experience is there. If someone accuses you, the accusation is really someone is accusing you. It's not just a hallucination. You see, in the further examination in the conventional reality, you will come to a position that it is different from how we in the first perception grasp onto it. Through the further investigation, in fact, the accusation comes in your way on the basis of different factors, different factors. So therefore, in conventional reality, it does exist in the interdependent reality. As long as it exists in interdependent reality, it is false to exist conventionally in the true existence, in the inherent existence. So because of it exists because of conventionally exists in the dependent in the dependent nature. So therefore, the ultimate reality of it, ultimate truth of it, then there is a void of true existence, void of inherent existence. So therefore, in ultimate nature, then there's no inherent accuser. There's no inherent experiencer of the accuser. There's no inherent I. There's no inherent accuser out there. So therefore, why need to be upset? Why need to be disturbed? So therefore, in absolute reality, since there's no inherent accuser and there's no inherent receiver of accuser, therefore all falls into a reality of dreamlike. All falls in the reality of illusional-like. So therefore it falls into the view of devoid of elaboration, elaborations of conceptual formation. So whatever grasping comes from based on the conceptual formation. So when you actualize the devoid of the elaboration of conception, you eliminate the discursive proliferation of conception. You see, so when you're able to eliminate that, then you're able to prove their nature and perceive them as a reality, reality's expenses. You're completely able to get to the point that nothing to be grasped, is absolutely is absolutely in the absolute nature of emptiness, absolute nature of empty of any form of grasping in relation to subject as well as in relation to the object. So so first you need to have a the clear understanding of the conventional truth and ultimate truth. On the basis of the meaning of understanding that, then we also need to go through the analytical, examination, how it works on the basis on self, the identity, the aggregates, then the rest of the other phenomena, on the basis of that, then one will able to come to a position that that you can use the wisdom of emptiness as a cure, as an antidote to transform all the samsaric experiences in the wisdom. So verse 33, the verse 32, giving a reason. If you understand emptiness, if you contemplate on emptiness meaning, and if you're able to observe into the meditation, on emptiness in relation to all experience in samsara, then this experience, this benefit will come. So verse 33, when their unreality and non appearances become manifest, generate heightened confidence as for the dangers intelled, harbor no concept of them of any kind, work solely and spontaneously for the benefit of others. So this is what you experience. Huh? So when their unreality and non-appearances become manifest, when their unreality, let's say in relation to the harm givers, when you understand the lack of inherent existence of the harm giver, when you understand that unreality, when you understand the unreality of how you grasp, how you perceive, the harm giver as has arise, inherently from its own side. When you understand that unreality, non-appearances become manifest. Well, then the emptiness of that harm giver become manifest into your mind. You see, so the emptiness of that harm giver manifests into your mind. So when you realize the emptiness, of the harm giver, when you manifest the emptiness of harm giver in your understanding, and generate the heightened confidence as for the danger in self, then you generate stable confidence endangering from the grasping, endangering from the harm giver. Conventionally, also you become fearless. Ultimately, also nothing to get harmed, because you already see the void of unreality of inherent of the harm giver. So because of that, then the practitioner experience, harbor no concept of them of any kind. So there's no grasping at all. You are completely free from any kind of grasping, like grasping of fear of that harm giver will harm you. You see, there's no grasping of that you get harm. There's no grasping of that you will be eliminated. There's no grasping of any form of the conceptual misconceptual elaboration how we usually occur in our mind when you see the sign of harm giver, then you freak out with the fear. You have a lot of uh, discursive proliferation in our heart, like such as that harm giver may harm you, poison you, kill you, eliminate you, etc., etc. There's a lot of fear arises. So all this will be disappeared. Work solely and spontaneous for the benefit of others. So in that way, then yourself completely. When you purify the grasping of inherent, then you're also able to purify the cherishing attitude, cherishing attitude to the object of grasping. Cherishing attitude to the subject and object of grasping, like I. You lose the cherishing attitude of I, mine, only me, etc. Or cherishing attitude of your own well-being, then you kind of work for the prevention of the harm giver. All this will be lost because of losing, because of eliminating the self-grasping ignorant. Then you're able to eliminate the self-cherishing ignorant, self-cherishing delusion. By eliminating these two delusions, you're able to solely, spontaneously, completely and spontaneously able to dedicate your life for the benefit of the rest of the numberless sentient beings' well-being. You see. So in another way, understanding that by understanding emptiness, then contemplating on the emptiness and meditating on emptiness, then you will realize emptiness directly. After you realize emptiness directly, then you will not conceptualize at all about any appearances comes in your perception, in your thoughts, in your mind, in your whatever perception. You will be completely overcome. Any appearances comes in your perception. Conceptual at all about. You will not conceptualize at all about any appearances comes in your perception. By doing so, you're able to completely eliminate both self-grasping and self-cherishing attitude. By doing so, then without any effort, without even one moment of pause, you will walk spontaneously and solely for the benefit of others. So it is talking about that. So now, so after here, the sutric aspect of neutralizing samsaric experiences in the altruistic attitude and altruistic wisdom. So now the verse 33 is neutralizing or the transforming or taking of the samsaric experiences onto the path using the tantra, using the mantra. So it says like this. When such spiritual practice is the load you carry, the force of darkness become ever more pernicious. And when thick cloud of impediments amass before you, scatter them across pure space with gales of mantra. When such a spiritual practice is a load to you carry. So, when someone, when individual seriously and intensely, start to dedicate your life in the spiritual practice, it's great spiritual practice like the Mayanic path, in the training of bodhicitta, emptiness, carrying bodhisattva's conduct, taking a lot of vows and precepts, and dedicating your time and your life, only working for the well-being of others. When such a spiritual practitioner, when such a spiritual practices is load you carry, the heavier the greater the practice you carry, the heavier the commitment you carry in the practice, uh, the force of darkness become even more pernicious. The obstacle also become more vivid to you. You see, the more serious you practice, the negative force also become more obvious towards you. It's not because of because of you practice so much, that's why you become weaker. No, because of you practice so much, because of your practice is so intense, then your energy become more sensitive. Your you know your senses become more, your senses become more how to say, more clear. Your wisdom become more clear, so that the negative forces and obstacles able to detect faster than before, because of that, because of that, uh, and also the more you become pure, the more you practice harder, the more you follow the pure path, the negative force, will challenge you to destroy your path, to obstacle you. So that is the job of negative force. That is the job of demons. That is the job of delusions. You see, that is the job of ignorant. That is the job of all the negative force, whether comes in physical form, whether comes in human form, whether comes in spirit form, whether comes in naga form, whether comes in elemental form, whether comes in thoughts or delusional form. uh, it is to destroy your good path. It is to destroy your virtue. It is to destroy your happiness. It is to destroy your accumulations of causes for your happiness, liberation, enlightenment. Basically it is to destroy you. You see, so therefore it is quite unnatural. The more pure you become, the more practice you carry, the negative force become more overwhelming. Yeah, overwhelming. So like that. So therefore, it's already discussed before, uh, that you need to be very very firm. You need to be very very stable in your practice. Otherwise, when you practice seriously, you may not able to handle, to challenge the negative forces. You may surrender. You may surrender to the negative forces. You may surrender to the delusion. You may surrender to the obstacle. You see, so like that. Mm. So the force of darkness become even more pernicious. Mm. And when the thick cloud of impediment amass before you, mm, you see, so then there the danger comes. You see, so when these negative forces become is overwhelmingly challenging you, and it really obscure you, it really come to obscure you, cloud to you, then then there's a danger of losing the clarity of your path, clarity of your mind, clarity of your wisdom, clarity of your focus. You see, even how pure the Dharma may be, how pure the path it may be, how pure your intention may be, uh, you know, uh, you see, when you don't recognize, when you don't recognize the danger of the cloud, uh, you know, that when it comes in your way, and when you don't clear them away, uh, you know even how clear that your intention may be, it can be obscured, like the clear like the clear sky. The nature of the clear sky is obstructionless, is pure by its nature. But when the cloud come into formation, And that cloud may carrying, heavy rainfalls and storms, and that will, if you don't regard, if you don't recognize, the uh, the impediment, the obstructions of that cloud. If you don't take a if you don't take a shelter, if you don't take a protection, timely, effectively, then you will be affected by those storms. Then because of that, you may even lose faith in the clarity of the sky. You may even lose your life. That you may not have opportunity to see the clear sky again tomorrow. You see. So similar way, how pure practitioner that we may be, how much vow that we practice, how great you practice, when the obstacle comes, when the cloud of, uh, uh, like a cloud, like a delusions, external obstacles comes in your way, you need to regard them as obstruction. Then you need to clear them away. Clear them away. So for practitioner, the immediate method to clear them away, scatter them across pure pace with the gulls of mantra. So using the power of mantra, you see. So the using the power of the mantra. So that's one of the way. The mantra here, the ultimate meaning of the mantra is emptiness. Is emptiness. Then and that emptiness or the mantra meaning in relation to the the tantric term, then is referring to the purity, the pure view, pure view, pure understanding, pure perception, in relation to any experiences. You see, so that helps to overcome the grasping, towards any kind of any form of the obstacle that occur towards you, like that. So when such a spiritual practices, Lord, you carry, well training on the path, someone like well training on the path, then the second line, when the force of darkness become ever more pernicious, occurring, obstacles in your way, obstructions in your way, the first and third line, then scatter them away, clear those obstacles by mantra. So how to do that? The verse 34. When you shout a loud hum of wrathful mantra, your identity can arise as a fierce wrathful deity. Therefore, recognize the sound as fanciful musical tunes, resounding inside a body, resembling an illusory town. So the way to use the mantra, when obstacle comes in our way, the obstacle, as mentioned before, any kind of obstacles, delusional, physical, seen, unseen, human, non-human, any obstacle comes in your way, you can use the mantra, shout loud or hum of wrathful mantra, so like such as mantra of Yamentaka, Om Hriti Uditanana Hum Pe. So in particularly the last two mantra, Hum Pe, is very much the mantra that carry the power of dispelling, pacifying, cleansing, power. The enlightened energy that carry in that powerful mantra, Hum Pe. So like such as shouting means, chanting, Om Hriti Uditanana Hum Pe, then like such as like Hayagiva mantra, which is regarded very powerful to clear human, non-human, seen, unseen, obstacles, like Shri Benzato the hierarchy or hulu hulu hum pe, Then like such as the bodhisattva mantra, the bodhisattva is deity of purification of negativities, om bodhisattva hum pe, you see. So like that. Then like such as the snowline face dakini, especially if there's a like harm, like a curse, bad mouthing, accusations, false accusations, etc. when it comes in your way, like such as reciting the mantra like snowline face dakini, aka samaranza shadara samaraya pe, like whom, aka samaranza shada samaraya pe, even though there's no whom, but there's a pe, like whom pe. These mantras carry that kind of force. Especially spirit harms, non-human spirit harms, like higher giver mantra regarded so powerful, spirit of ancestors, spirit of debtors, human spirit, non-human spirits, or any form of negative energy and charm spirit, like regarded higher giver mantra is very powerful, Shri Bezato the higher giver hulu hulu home pe, like that. So when you do, so this practice is, especially when someone there who are engaging in very serious practices, you're very diligent in practices, as mentioned before, the earlier verse. The more you are pure in practice, the more obstacle, stand out there to challenge you. You see, so the externally, use the external power like the mantras to dispel the hindrances, or the internally, making sure always, meditate the view on emptiness, view on emptiness. You see, so you like what says in the last line from the verse 33, scatter them across pure space with the guilds of mantra. So outwardly you scatter them by the power of the mantra. Ultimately, through your meditation on emptiness, then scatter all those obstacles in the pure space of non-existent, in the pure space of non-existent, of inherent. You see, because all these harm givers also arise from your karma, arise from your mind, arise from your conceptual imprint of the past. You see, so in emptiness understanding and in emptiness meditation, it literally can able to consume or scattered or purify into complete empty of it, because in ultimate reality there's no inherent harm givers out there. There's no inherent spirit out there harming you. It's very much of the arising of your past negative imprint, which is also a mental expression. Then many is very much of your hallucinational view. You see, then and many of the harm givers, including spirits, are because of you accumulate so much of negative energy, negative imprint from the past. Then naturally, the what you call the perception perception to kind of magnet is more obvious there. Is more more readiness is there. So when you meditate on emptiness, then you make your own basis in absolute empty of such a magnet to get harm of those harm givers. So you can able to scatter them across pure space of guild of emptiness, or you scatter them across pure space the guild of mantra hum pe, so like that. Then the verse 34, the second line, your identity can arise as a fierce, wrathful way. Another way to purify those hamjiva is arise yourself in the deity, wrathful deity like Yamantaka, like Hayagiva, like Snowline Face Dagini, like Bodhisattva, etc. You can arise in any form of deity, but especially these wrathful fears of wrathful deities. Like the most common one you use Yamantaka. So those who have initiation, then whenever you feel such kind of obstacles in your way, you feel mentally disturbing, environmentally disturbing you, people are disturbing to you, even how good you do, how pure you are, but still you get accusation, then you understand, you have the confidence of your purity, of your ethics, your practices. Then you understand, you understand the cloud of impediment that amassing before you. You recognize that, and you have a confidence of the pure, like space in your practice, your heart, your motivation, your being. You have confidence in that, but at the same time you recognize the cloud of impediment amassing before you. Then then you timely, effectively you dispel them. You dispel them. Not even need to wait someone to help you to do that. You can do by yourself. You see, so all the mantra that I mentioned to you before, even without initiation, you can recite them. You can practice them. You see, so powerful. You see, and those who you have initiation, then you can generate the self-generation practice of deity like Yamantaka, like Hayagiva, etc. Like Kala Chakra. Many of you have received Kala Chakra initiation. You see, Vajrayogini, Rafu, Heruka, etc. So all these Rafu deities, you can use. But Yamantaka is one of the most common, and specifically Yamantaka is embodiment of emptiness, and manifesting into very fearful, to the nastiest obstacle. So therefore, using Yamataka is most how to say, uh, mm, 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 yeah, uh, is most relevant. You see. So you meditate on emptiness, then from on the basis of emptiness, then you actualize Guru Yamataka, arise as a self deity. Then on the basis of holding the divine pride, not the ordinary pride, divine pride. Then just holding onto that, then nothing can be harm you. You see, all those forces will be eliminated. Uh, amass in the pure space with the guilt of, yourself, what you call the divine pride of your self deity. So you can do that. And those of you who don't have initiation, you can also visualize Guru Yamataka. We have mentioned many times before, during the commentary on the will of sharp weapon. Using Guru Yamataka. Remember, using Guru Yamataka to bless you, to purify those negativities. So similarly, you can visualize them onto your crown in front of you. You take refuge in Guru Yamataka. You visualize that. Then just that alone will help to purify the obstacles. Therefore, recognize the sound and the fanciful musical anthem. Then so then also meditate on emptiness. You see, by this understanding, recognizing the sound, the sound of the mantra, or whatever speech that you express it as a fanciful, musical tune, like a imaginary, like mm, uh, like sound sound like pendulum song, like that, So, so meaning also you can meditate on the emptiness of the sound. Then emptiness of the sound, the resounding, inside in all your body. Then you can also visualize and meditate, resembling the illusory sound. Know the aggregates that hold that sound of the mantra are like an illusory city, like illusory body, like all the different, different aggregates, like such as 5 aggregates, and there are so many, like cells and organs, everything that you can also visualize them, understand them, are like an illusory city or the illusory town. You see, in another word, you meditate on the emptiness of the aggregates, emptiness of the sound, emptiness of the aggregates. The emptiness of the sound, you can be understand the I, the name, the identity, the self, and the identity of the harm giver. It could be anything, it just simply exists in the identity, in the name. There's no inherent existence of I, there's no inherent existence of harm giver, isn't it? It just simply exists in merely labeled by name. It simply exists in the name. So you recognize that, you meditate on that. It's just it's very much like the echo of a music, or echo of a sound. Echo of the sound. When you go to search there, you cannot find it is inherent identity, isn't it? So when you think about I am going through problem, I'm receiving problem, I'm receiving harm, then instead of understanding that, you rather understand the emptiness of the I, emptiness of the I. You see, the lacking of inherent existence of that I, that who hold the grasping of this, like literally there's a harm giver is going to cause harm to you. And then also you understand the emptiness of the harm giver, the inherent lacking of inherent existence of the harm giver from out there, in the nature of emptiness. You see, so it's talking about that. Then also the aggregates that you carry, also understand and meditate on illusory, like illusory, basis, like an illusory town, illusory, like an illusory city, like that, like imaginated city. There's so many kind of aggregates, so many cells, so many organs, on so many thoughts, so many feelings, on your basis of your identity, isn't it? So all those are like kind of how you imagine, city with the varieties of, colors and buildings, shapes, etc., etc. So you can meditate on that, so resembling an illusory town is talking about know the aggregates as an illusional-like town. Then verse 35. Is very much like stressing, further instruction on the practice. In this mind of yours, amid its diverse apparitions, nothing is tangible. It is like the mind of a chimera. As it has never existed, let it rest in its natural place. Release it within the truth of those who see the ultimate expenses. So for us to cultivate like this in the mind of yours. So during whatever feelings and thoughts and ideas and experience comes in your way, then simply regard, the diverse illusional, appearances, illusional, or the, like a diverse, appearations, different kind of images, different kind of expressions, etc. It's just simply, it's like this. In this mind of yours, amid its diverse appearations, so nothing is real. That whatever comes in your mind, nothing is real inherent. Nothing is tangible. It is simply like a mind of a chimera. Including the identity. The actual fact is no self, but then it appeared to be a real I. It's like a it's like a it's like a it's like a like the mind of chimera. It is like the image of the myths, like what you call the sheep's body with the wolf's head, or wolf's body with the sheep's head. You can see, some some of the, how to say, maybe Catholic churches, especially in the Europes, they're like a two-headed, like some are human form, but then two different kind of animal head, some other heads, some like the body like a like like a sheep, but then head is like a wolf, etc., like that. So anyway, this is just a kind of illustrating the how the existent and non-existent eyes manifest in our idea. We we apprehend the I as if it's inherent, true existent. Is very much almost like a tangible thing. Here it's not talking about the tangible as something to hold, but it's really definitely out there. But in actual fact, there's no I inherently exist. You see, so we live in the confusion of grasping or holding our identity on the invalid vase, in the invalid vase. So we in fact didn't recognize the self. We in fact didn't hold the identity on the right passport. It's like you're carrying a wrong passport to the wrong person. We're carrying the wrong passport of inherent I, inherent existent I, claiming that is me, which is in actual fact is non-existent. You see, so like that. Nothing is tangible. It is like the mind of the chimera, as it has never existed. Let it rest. So then, you have to understand. You have to come to understanding that, the inherent existent I is never exist. will never exist and never exist in the past. It's just hallucinational understanding only. So there you come to a conclusion: I do not exist. I is empty. You see, so that I can refer to self when there's any grasping comes in your way, and can refer to uh, any experiences which comes to bother you, and instead of grasping, rather understand the emptiness of that, selflessness of that, and let it rest in the natural space. Completely. Try to let it rest in the natural place means rest in uh, the naturality of empty of inherent. Uh, just simply let it rest in the free of elaboration uh, of it is what do you call the discursive proliferation on any idea, on any basis. So that's the way that you let it rest in the natural place. Release it within the truth of those who see the ultimate expenses. Try to release the grasping within the truth, within the reality. How when someone experience the absolute truth of self and the rest of experiences, like those of who realize emptiness statically. So in other words, let it rest in the natural place means let it rest in it is natural place of empty of inherent existence. Then release it with the truth of those who see the ultimate expenses. Then you learn to you release yourself in the absolute genuine freedom. So when you realize ultimate reality, then ultimate reality in any experiences, whether do with I, whether do with any kind of uh, relation to grasping objects, there you actualize the genuine freedom. So in other words, when you realize emptiness, then you realize the real freedom. So talking about that. Mm. So in short, every thought comes in our way, whether do with one's own identity or whether to do with any experiences, always have to understand there's the two, you know, uh, two, what's it? Mm, uh, mm, two kind of perceptions comes in our way. One is comes in the false, and one is comes in the truth. You know, so that has to be we have to carry that understanding. Then by purifying the false and actualizing the truth, then we liberate ourselves from the bondage. So that's one thing. Then another thing is that uh, another important thing is have to educate ourselves to learn to rest in its natural place. We try to conclude our examinations, our research, our findings, including our finding of reality. Everything should finally should let it rest in its natural place. Should conclude with emptiness view, or with emptiness nature. So that is even in the journey of conventional life, conventional studies, thinkings, especially in our spiritual practices, how many diverse studies we do, how many diverse practices we do, how many stages of accumulations that we engage, purification that we engage. The end should be ended with resting in its natural place, ending with the emptiness view, emptiness understanding. Everything should be end with no sense of grasping. Like even when we do dedication, we dedicate finally in emptiness. Then ultimately, everything should conclude in ultimate nature. So that's the way. Because as long as we live in the conventional world, conventional nature, then we won't be able to reach the final reality of existence. So even in the path of enlightenment, the conclusion of our journey of spirituality is resting ourselves in the ultimate nature of Dharmakaya. You see, so all the study that we do, all the accumulation of merit that we do, all the purification that we do, finally we need to let it rest in its natural place, which is letting ourselves rest into the Dharmakaya of enlightenment. So even in our conventional life, how much we gather wealth, fame, life, etc., from beginningless lifetime up to this very life. Even in this very life, even after meeting Dharma, whatever spiritual accumulations that we do, etc., finally, will conclude into process of death. And spiritually, that process of death should be emerged in the clear light, which is the conventional existence, resting into it is natural place, which is the experience of clear light. You see, so like that. Then verse 36, even if everything arises as an enemy or demon in every way, think nothing of this, make no attempt to reverse it, and temple upon those thought of attachment or hostility, self and others, view all memories and perceptions as roughly amittaka. So this is just a summary to the practice of taking negativities and adversities onto the path of altruistic attitude. So even everything arises as an enemy, like in the form of natural, like natural disasters, political crisis, health crisis, human, non-human, whatever, enemy or demon in our every way. Even while we are practicing, even how much good thing we do, still, people harm you, people accuse you, people, cross your way, etc. Then, as a practitioner of Lojong and a practitioner of Mahayanic Dharma, then in that kind of experience, think nothing of this. Think nothing, all these obstacles and harm givers, never think of the negative side of that. make no attempt to reverse it, never retaliate them, never oppose them, rather embrace them, rather by embracing them, rather embrace them, uh, any negative experiences in our life, nothing to oppose them, nothing to feel bad about that, and temple upon thought of attachment and hostility in self and others. Uh, Rather understanding that such as a negative emotion like attachment, hostility, uh, never let it occur in your system. Uh, when you have a strong oppose to the negative side, like such as harm giver, etc. Then there's also other side of the mind, which is attachment, to something good, like a loved one, etc. Then there's imbalance, emotion will comes in our system, and that is very very harmful for yourself and harmful for others. So by understanding that, so never let any experiences that comes in our way, even how harmful it is, never let it intrude into your system, to development, to the arising of imbalance emotion like attachment and hostility, by understanding it is harmful for yourself and others. So view all memories and perception as a wrongful yamataka. So whatever 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 thoughts that comes in our way, whatever perceptions that you perceive, everything you can interpret into the manifestations of manifestation of emptiness, like sometime in the wrathful way like yamantaka, sometime in a peaceful deity like manjushri, and sometimes it's just simply as understanding, the wisdom of emptiness, like understanding in another word, taking everything onto the path uh, by interpreting or resting in its ultimate nature, which is empty of inherent of every experiences. So talking about that. So verse 37, at that point, see all being as your parent and draw them forth together without hesitation, without fear and near. Nestle them in the heart of your compassion, with no prejudice. Sustain them with the true truth. So in that kind of encounterance, as mentioned before, then see all being as your parents, whether harm givers, or strangers, or someone called as a loved one, everyone, you just see them, understand them conventionally. They all has been your mother, they all has been your parents, loved one. So therefore there's nothing to develop this impartial attitude of attachment to someone, aversion to someone. Draw them forth together with the hesitation, draw them forth together with hesitation. uh, yeah, so you bring every being, equally, embrace them, uh, equally, in your immeasurable, altruism, relate to them without far and near, hustle them in a hair of compassion, with no prejudice, sustain them with true truth. So with the understanding of the true truth, the conventional nature with others as a interrelated, interdependent, coexistent, then ultimate nature of the lack of inherent, existence of far and near, loved one and enemy, etc. So everything you interpret into compassion, everything, relate, every situation, every other, relate with deep compassion, on the basis of truth, which is the understanding of the true truth. Then verse 38, to cultivate in this way, in the liberating life of sage, if you conduct yourself thus, the three jewels will smile. On such a person, the Dharma protectors coverage naturally. Know this well, O children of the sage. So, mm, so living our life, dedicating our life, in the practice of whatever discussed before, all those verses, is the life of this is the way how you live a life of life like bodhisattvas, and in those who are not bodhisattva yet and aspire to bodhisattva's path, and those who are living a life like that already, uh, uh, developing those practices in their system, then those are called bodhisattvas. Mm. If you conduct yourself, thus the three jewels. So if you live a life in the bodhisattva's conduct, as mentioned before, then Buddha Dharma Sangha will be pleased. This is exactly what Buddha Dharma Sangha want us to achieve. To achieve the altruistic conducts and altruistic path and eventually enlightenment. So this is the whole reason of, from the very first day, taking refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So this is the way to please Buddha Dhamma Sangha. On such a person, then also the Dhamma protectors, will be harmonious with us. Dhamma protectors always will coverage, without even need to invoke them. Dhamma protectors will be among us, to have this sustainability, steady progress on the stages of the path. So know this well. We have to understand that, all children of the sage. So this is what Dhammarashita advise us to understand this. Verse 39. I spit on the way of life, that is belief of conscience. As I reflect, I feel revulsion of the headless conduct. This too is the practice worthy of entry by the heroes. So on the way, practicing the Dharma, or while we are on the spiritual practice in our life, if there's any negativities that we commit through our body, speech, and mind, then should discard. I spit on the way of life. You should discard. Meaning you should discard. You should regret about it, and you should purify them and transform yourself to the proper practice. As I reflect, and I feel revulsion of the headless conduct. So any, as a trainee, without doubt that we may transgress our practices, samayas. We may not able to fulfill our commitments. We may engage into negative actions through our body, speech, and mind. Even if it's not intentionally, but unintentionally. In samsaric environment, where God, completely place which is free in committing of negative karma, isn't it? So therefore, one should recognize, each time that when we commit negativities, then you should feel regret about it. Then you should discard and purify those conducts. It's talking about that. So here, the word I spit on. So is in the Himalayas, in Tibet, not like in the West now. Here now, not even in the Himalayas in Tibet, especially in the COVID time, you spit on the way of life. When we do something mistake, when we do something mistake, or when someone do something bad to you, you spit out. You spit out. You throw. You spit out, and you spit away like that. So it's just an expression. So it's simply meaning, you discard, all those negative doings. And the second line is very much talking about, the purification comes when there's a regret of, those negativities that you have performed. Then also talking about that you need to have a mind of shame on those and negative doings, so that you will purify what you have committed, and also you will have a sense of God or reframing, committing again. So in other words, practice of purification, practice of shame to the negative done, practice of regret to the negative, practice of regret to the negative done, and practice of shame of committing new negativities or new, negativities are also a practice. This too is a practice worthy of entry by the heroes. These are a very important practice, to enter to the conduct of bodhisattva's way of life, or if someone want to follow the bodhisattva's path, someone who aspire the altruistic practice, then the very very minimum, very basic, like a preliminary or entry, the mindfulness that we need to carry every time that we commit any wrongdoing, any negativities, any harmful deeds from our body, speech, and mind, immediately should discard by application of purification practice, and regret. With a mind of regret. With a mind of regret, then you purify them. Then also, in order not to commit again, then have a mind of shame, on towards, performing those negativities. You see, so these are important, like entry practices to the hero's path, to the bodhisattva's path. So chapter 3 of extracting the essence of poison complete here. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for again taking your extra time. Yeah, so thank you very much. So we dedicate the merit. So whatever merit and virtue that we accumulate from this session, and all the merit and the virtues that are accumulated by past, present, future Buddhas, so we dedicate this for the purification of karma and delusion and suffering in all sentient beings, and dedicate for the cause of complete cause for actualizing from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness or enlightenment in numberless sentient beings. And we also dedicate this collective merit to all the beings who are suffering of samsaric suffering, and in particularly those who are those humans and animals that we vividly can see that they are suffering through natural disasters, through different form of diseases, different form of problems, including of those who requested prayers for you, prayers from me, prayers from you, prayers from me, prayers from our gurus, like such as Sasha Kirichenko, Vika Kotina, and Alina Drozdenko, Lee Weng Chuan, Dr. Lee, Chris Price, David, Geshe Tunle, Madam Wong, Madam Chinmi Lang, Eng Seng Hai, Jude Workford, Donna Bat, Dan Kim Seng, Rachel, and all the others who have given name but not mentioned here, and also any of the animals, any of the humans to whom that you witness them, through watching the news or saw them on your way, around your house, around you, wherever they may be. May this collective merit be a complete cause for them to purify any form of sufferings, any form of obstacle they're going through, and actualize perfect health, a long life, and fulfill all their happiness aspirations accordingly. Also dedicate this collective merit to all the beings who passed away, in particular in the last 49 days, and also those who have requested prayers, like such as Xiang Xiu Cheng, Xiang Xiu Zheng, Gray Son Xiang Shi Xiu, Gani Yunzom, Te Yek Cheng, Chi So Chuan, Lu Yong Kon. Then also anyone that whom you know that they pass away. May this quality may be complete cause for them to purify the suffering of death, suffering in the middle state, suffering of rebirth, and actualize high rebirth in pure land. There they actualize state of full enlightenment within that very lifetime. May this quality merit be a complete cause for all the world leaders and leaders of organizations, leaders of family, yourself who lead your life free from all negative emotions, actualize, full of wisdom of selfless and attitude of altruism, loving kindness, compassion, so that anyone under your leadership can able to enjoy peace, happiness, and virtue. May this quality merit be a complete cause. All the good people who are cause of peace and happiness of this world, like His Son Lama, all your spiritual gurus, and yourself and your family members, always enjoy perfect health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this quality merit be a complete cause. So all the virtuous institutions like monasteries and nunneries and dharma centers, free from all the inner outer secret obstacles, and actualize all the conducive conditions to fulfill the virtuous works, according with the with virtuous conduct. May this quality merit be a complete cause. Each and every one of us able to practice the Dharma, perfectly and accordingly, like what the teaching have taught. Then able to make our life most meaningful for the cause of numberless sentient beings' happiness. Then they dedicate ourselves the merit and the purpose that we dedicate all lies in the nature of emptiness. Jawade Nudoda Lama Sanje do Yunadoa Chikamale Bade Sala Gobara Show Chanjo Sanjo Bojama Japanam Jiwani Bamba by Kone Kondo Pewacho Tony Tower Bojama Japanam Jiwani Bamba. Kone Kondo Bewajo, Rimia Tower Bojama Japanam Jiwani Bamba by Kone Kondo Bewara Show Pama Simjetam Jeda, they using a rotam Jeta to one. Chanjo Zambagana Sojoba de Dagunya Molam Dubjuro Jambe Bowich, the Jambano Kondo Somebody and the Jedi Dollars. Yawa de Datam Jerabdungo, the Sonjebe Jawadam, Jedongo, Galajudong about the Daji Jevezawa, the Gunya Sambo Jerabdungo. Carrera Goaging on the Benan, the one Malajo, and the Jeresima, the Jazo Shabe, Sede, but the danger to the Janji Jango, Java, the Yobe Conzo, the Bojos of Element to the Batazo, the Jemondo Shade. Semjane Bajin Yabanyo, Nella, Dajo, Ruven, and Malabada, Dojo, Jim the Dish, but I do hand the Mother in the Mother. John the Majabono, the Molajano, died on the opposite of the other examiners, died on the opposite of the examiners. Died on the opposite of the other examiners, or died on the opposite of the other examiners, died on the opposite. Died on the opposite of the other examiners, Jim Dish, or Regiment, but the Besanje. Oh, Mangela Bendo, Javola, Jim Dish, or Regiment, but the Besanje, the Mola, the Radu, Javola. Shaji on board the wall, Mimans, the Genesis, the Jogo, the Demon, the Memon, the Menu, Majors, the Javation, and the Telegram, the Namda Memben, Drove Juro, better than migration, but the similar one was so much children. Don't budget them on the Jumada, the money, the Zoma, the Zimbologin, but the Mayor and the Betation, you want the send the name, and the residence of the Conjo, some yeta, she show. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.